Press pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo. This is Bailstorm, and welcome to episode 3 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. How are you, my friend? We missed last week, but we're back.
We're back. I'm good.
You've been playing
Doing
anything?
good.
That's always the question of the week is, have you been playing anything?
Yes, and I feel like my ADHD is going to become very clear throughout this because I'm
Okay.
realizing I can't stick to a game for very long.
Fair.
Every week I'm going to say something different.
That's good. Hey,
But
that gives us more to talk about. Nothing wrong with that.
I picked up Disco Elysium, if anyone's heard of that.
Oh, okay.
Right now it's on Steam summer sale right now, so it was only $4. So if anyone is watching that has contemplated
Pick that game up for $4. That's ridiculous. That's a
it's like
sale.
80% off or 90%, something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That game is. I never beat it, but I did play it. And it is really good.
It's a really good
cool
story.
Yeah,
it's just
very cool system.
It's kind of hilarious at times too. I love the dialogue. It cracks me up.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
It's very dark.
I like that dark humor, so I'm just laughing throughout it.
Yeah. How far are you so far?
Not very far. I just got the body down. So.
Okay, so you talk to the kids?
Yeah. The kids are fun.
That whole thing's just creepy. Cool. Anything else you played, or did you just jump to that, basically?
Just that.
Just that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What have I been? So I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, although it's kind of it's getting harder to play. So I've been jumping between games because that game is just so long. It's crazy. I've tried a couple of new games. I tried the first Descendant, which just came out. It's basically like third-person Destiny, from what I can tell. I played it for like half an hour and was like, eh.
Wasn't really worth it though.
No, I mean, if you're into like looter shooters and that kind of persistent live service type game, then it was fine. It was free, so I'm not.
Can't really complain too much, but
yeah, it was fun. I just it's not something I need in my life right now. It's a live service game, so
yeah.
Moved on from that pretty quickly. I played a little bit of Endless Dungeon. Have you played that?
No, I haven't.
So it's like a top-down. Yeah, it's like a top-down Diablo-esque game with tower defense elements, and it's okay. It's not bad. There's something about it that's like not hooking me, but I need to give it more time. I played a couple of Steam demos from the Steam Next Fest, I think it was called, a couple of weeks ago. Played Ark of Charon, I think it was. It's like a... Did you ever play Wandering Village?
No, I did not.
It's like I love city builders, so like I'm constantly checking those kind of games out. And it's basically like that, but it's side-scrolling, and you ride this like stone creature, and you build on its back as it walks from place to place.
Oh, I think I've seen that around.
Yeah, I think it's about to come out or something like that in early access. So,
yeah, I saw like clips of it somewhere, some trailer.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's very similar to Wandering Village, but I think I prefer Wandering Village. It's got a cuter art style, and but it's also more finished, so kind of hard to say. What else have I played? I've been playing Medieval Dynasty. That's on Game Pass. It just got co-op added to it, so I figured I'd check it out because I like Valheim and stuff like that. And it's not bad. It's pretty fun. It's a little dry. It's definitely like a time suck type of game where you just lose yourself into it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't bad. It's pretty good. I think that's about it. I've been just kind of like sprinkling around, just trying to find something that hooks me.
I find it kind of funny the difference between our gaming styles. Like, you seem to dip into multiple things at once, and then I'm just 1 week on this, 1 week on this.
Yeah, it depends.
Causes me to drop things so often, and then I have to go back to them.
Yeah, it depends. Like, if a game really gets its hooks in me, then I'll play it until I'm done. Like, it just kind of depends on what that game is. And I'm sure as we go forward, there will be a game that does that for me. It's been a while since I've had a game that put its hooks in me. Oh, and of course I'm playing Helldivers 2, but
Yeah.
that's just with my buddy. I don't play that alone, so we'll be playing that tomorrow. Can't wait. It's gonna be fun. So let's move forward into our topic of the week, which is what's left in 2024. So 2024 so far, as far as games goes, has been excellent. It's been a good year for games so far, especially after the kind of lackluster 2023. This year's been a banger. It's been really good so far, and we still got half way to go. And there's quite a few games with release dates still set for 2024. There's even more games that are set for a 2024 release with no release date. So we're going to go through the list, kind of see what we think of each game, where it's sitting, and as always, we're going to use our hype meter to talk about how high our interest is in said games. Starting with the next game that's going to come out, next noteworthy game, I should say. We're not going to talk about every game that's left in 2024. There's a lot of games still coming out, but these are kind of the noteworthy ones that I thought were worth mentioning. First of all, we got Darkest Dungeon 2 is finally coming to consoles. Yeah. That one I cannot wait for. I'm not much of a PC gamer when it comes to if I can play it with a controller, I want to play it with a controller.
Yeah.
If
that's how I am. That's why I'm glad a lot of Steam games do have controller support still, so I can just plug in my controller.
Absolutely. I think I just prefer the couch with my TV. I mean, I have a 75-inch TV, so I can't, that's where I want to play it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, I still play PC games, but I play PC games that are PC-centric, so like mouse and keyboard type games, like, I don't know, City Skylines is one I play on PC a lot, Heroes of the Storm. Oh, that's another game I've been playing recently again, is Heroes of the Storm, which is deader than dead, but...
yeah.
Neither here nor there. But yeah, Darkest Dungeon 2 comes out on consoles on July 15th. And yeah, I can't wait.
Which Darkest Dungeon does seem like the perfect couch kind of game too.
Mm-hmm.
It's preferable, lounge on the couch, play it with a controller in front of the TV.
I don't know much about the sequel, besides the fact that it looks a heck of a lot better visually.
Yeah.
It seems to be
mostly an upgraded system with different newer classes and stuff. I was actually recently talking about it with my brother. So
yeah, you're basically in a cart from what I can tell from the trailer, and you're just kind of heading towards a destination. So it's maybe more roguelite-y than the previous games, but I don't know. And it also looks like you only have 4 people. I don't know if that's. So you're only one.
I don't know if it's only 4 people or if you still have the town you stop at frequently, and then you go on the road to somewhere and then come back.
See, I think we talked about this on one of the previous shows where I was like, that's the only thing I didn't like about Darkest Dungeon was having to manage 16 different people. I'm like, just give me 4 that I always go with. You know,
it's so much to think about when you have multiple.
And it's so unforgiving too, because if you lose a guy that you really put a lot of time and effort into, then it's like
I get real attached to them too. So when I lose the ones I cared about, I'm like,
it's like, and they always die from something cheap.
Should I start over now?
It's never a good death. It's always cheap. Mm-mm. It's like, oh, he died from 2 crits in a row. Thanks. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, for sure. I think it's been out on PC for a while now. I'm not sure.
I think it's out on PC already.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in early access still, or is it, or maybe the console version is the version 1.1.0 launch. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that. But
I think it's just early access. But
yeah,
so it must be officially released, maybe.
I'm on board for. I'm on board for it.
Yeah.
Next, we have Dungeons of Hinterberg coming out on July 18th. This one's coming straight to Game Pass, which is great. So I'll be playing this one and be able to report back on it. It's sort of a third-person dungeon crawler / social sim.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting with a great visual art style. I love the color palette that they pick. It's very pastel-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the colors.
Yeah.
It's unique. It looks very unique, which I
Mm-hmm.
like.
Yeah. I haven't seen a whole lot of what the story is or
Yeah.
like anything like that, but it certainly has my attention. And
Hmm.
as I've said before, Game Pass is just awesome. So I'll be
Yeah.
able to play it and report back if it's any good.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't
Can't
do a
wait
hype
to hear
meter
it.
on the Darkest Dungeon
Oh,
2. 5 for me, clear.
probably like a 4. I'll probably
Yeah,
play it. Yeah.
yeah. For Dungeons of Hinterberg, I'm going with a 4 for that. It looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Anything with a good art style has me focused on
Yeah, I'm
it.
pretty much the same. 4. I want to see what more it has.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I just want to see more of it to see if it's as good as the visuals
Yeah.
appear to be.
Right.
Next up, we've got Flintlock, which has a subtitle. I think it's The Siege of Dawn.
Let's see.
Set for July 18th. This is the third person God of War like, where with God of War you're Kratos with a boy with his son. In this one you're this woman with this little like four-legged creature, fox kind of creepy thing that floats and has magic powers and stuff like that.
Right.
This one's also coming to Game Pass, so I'll be able to
Nice.
play this one and give my feedback on it as well. I
How
had
excited
my
are
eye
you
on
to
this
play
one
it?
for a while.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was just saying that. How excited are you to play it?
Yeah, I've had my eye on this one since it was first debuted. I think it was like
Yeah.
2 years ago, I want to say, because I was like,
Wow.
oh, finally someone that's looking at God of War going, hey,
Yeah.
let's make something like that. Um, yeah, it's also got some like town building elements or something, some like light RPG elements in it too, which is
Ooh,
interesting.
yeah. That is
Um,
interesting.
yeah, it has my interest still. The visuals aren't as impressive as some other titles that are on this list.
Yeah.
But if the gameplay is good, I'm on board. If
I mean,
the story is good,
if the gameplay feels as good as like the God of War games did,
hmm
I'll probably get it and play it.
yeah. Well, I'll be able to
Mhm.
tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dungeons of or sorry, Flintlock. I'm
Flintlock.
gonna give. I'm gonna give it a 3 just because it could go either way. It's one of those games where my eyes are on it, but it's got that double A or like B tier visual style to it, where it's like, is that a sign that it's like too low budget, or that they don't know what they're doing,
Right.
or So I'm a little hesitant, but I do want to play. What about you?
I think I'll give this one a 4 still, just because
Yeah.
I did really like God of War, so
You're like me, yeah, yeah.
I have
I
high
don't blame
hopes
you.
still.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that at all. The next one up is SteamWorld Heist 2. This one kind of came out of nowhere. I think it was announced at the Nintendo Direct, if I remember correctly. Comes out on August 8th, which is just around the corner. This
Yeah.
is the side-scrolling, turn-based strategy kind of tactics game.
Yeah.
I did play the original, and I think I beat it, if I remember correctly. And it was good. It was a little shallow, the first one.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm hoping that the sequel really expands upon,
Rounds it out
what
more.
yeah, what the foundation was in that first game. Because
Was
I
it the
really like the SteamWorld games in
story that
general.
didn't hold up, or was it like mechanic wise, or
Um, if I was to give the game a score, I'd give it a 7. It was
yeah.
good, but it just didn't do anything past what I expected of it. I was like, oh, this is cool. You can like bounce bullets off the wall, and that's kind of like the main
Right.
mechanic is, you know, uh, gaining a good angle on your enemies and making sure that you're behind cover so that they can't get you. So it's cool. It just didn't go anywhere. Like what you were doing 2 hours into the game was what you were doing 10 hours into the game. It never really changes. Never
I
really
see.
evolved a whole lot. It was like, yeah, your gun does more damage, or but there was nothing. There's no meat on the bone. Um, the story was fine. It's all like it's mostly reading text. There's no real voice acting in it. Um, But yeah, if you like the
I think
Steam mode
this
games,
one sounded like it had voice acting in the trailer.
I don't know. It
Or
could. In the first one, it had sort of the. Do you remember Banjo Kazooie? Where it would like this text would show, but all you would hear was like.
yeah,
That's
maybe
kind of
like
what
that. Yeah,
yeah, that's what it was like. So I don't
yeah,
know if that's going to be the continuation there, or if they're going to put actual voice acting in it. But
yeah,
yeah, so I'd say my hype level on that one's mm, without knowing more, I'm going to say a 3.
yeah.
Because it could just be more of the same, or it could
Mhm.
be the proper evolution that I was looking for. So we'll see.
I was gonna say a 3 too, just because I do really like the visuals. It looks nice,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't know if it's my kind of tactical game.
Yeah,
Can't tell a lot from it. I didn't play the original, so I really don't know.
fair, absolutely.
Yeah,
You do like turn-based games, though.
I do. Yeah,
So if it's a game that you get on the cheap, the first one, I'd recommend it if you can get it for like a Steam sale kind of price.
yeah.
Next up is Concord,
Right.
PlayStation's multiplayer shooter that we talked about. It was either last week or the week before. It comes out on August 27th. We've already talked about it, so we're not going to go too in depth here. But I did want to mention that the beta, there's going to be 2 betas in July. They've announced a closed beta for the ones that pre-order it, which I think is next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's going to be an open beta, which I will participate in and be able to give my feedback on the game.
Nice.
So we'll have some info for you
I know the
after that open
trailer
beta.
didn't really impress us, but
No, it did not. No.
it can't. I don't think it's going to be a bad game. It's
Mm,
just
well, it's
I'm
either going
looking
to
for more.
be yeah, it's PlayStation Studios, right? So it's like it's either going to be a good game that doesn't do anything crazy special, or it's going to blow everyone's minds at how
Yeah.
wrong we were. One of the two,
Right.
but it's not going to be bad. It's just,
Yeah.
but I do think that the beta is going to make or break the game.
Yeah, I could see that.
If the feedback from players,
Mhm.
coming out of that beta is not, you have to play this, that
Yeah.
game's dead, so dead. So we'll see. But we've already talked about Concord, so we'll move on. Core Keeper is coming out on August 27th. This is the city building underground Terraria, but it's like
Yeah.
I don't think it's side scrolling. I think it's like a top down, almost like a Zelda, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yeah, it looks like a top down
yeah.
dealio.
I think I played the
Mhm.
demo for this a long time ago and enjoyed it, which is why
Yeah.
it's on my noteworthy list.
Hmm.
So sure, I'll give it a try. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, other than I hope they release a demo, I think, of the finished product,
Yeah.
so I can give it a shot again
Mhm.
instead of its early access, you know,
Yep.
form. Um, give it a 3 for my hype meter.
Yeah, I'll
I
give it
like
a
those kind of
three.
games.
It
Yeah,
looks
3.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a
I'd like
cool
to
art style.
give it a shot.
hmm
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Star Wars Outlaws, which we talked about on the previous episode, I believe. This one comes out on August 30th. This is the open world Star Wars game from Ubisoft. We've already talked about it. I've talked about it at length, so there's no
Yeah.
need to really go into detail here. But something to note that it's coming up pretty
Mhm.
soon.
Can't wait to
Uh,
hear what you think of that one.
yeah, I'm stoked for that one. Next up is Age of Mythology Retold. That one's coming up pretty quick as well. We talked about that one last week as well. It's coming up on September 4th. This is the sort of remake, reimagining of the real time strategy city building game from many years ago, exclusive to PC. Now coming to Xbox and PC, I believe. But we've already talked about that, so not a whole lot to say. Um, Next up in the year is Stalker 2, coming up
Mhm.
on September 5th. This is the long awaited sequel to Stalker from the Ukraine indie developer.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this game's been delayed multiple times due to their situation over there with the war, but it
Right.
seems to be finally coming out on
But they're
September 5th.
still working on it.
Still
Props
working
to
on it.
them. It must really be a passion, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. I think it's coming on Game Pass, which I think is a shame because I think this game's going to get a lot of buys just because of people who want to support a Ukraine developer during the war.
Right.
Um, you know, yeah, I think it's going to be a huge hit for that crowd. So it's a little bit of a shame that a lot of the sales are going to not be there
Yeah.
because of Game Pass. But
Right.
with it being on Game Pass, that means I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to give my feedback on it once the game comes out, which is always cool. I'm a 3 on that one. I never played the original, so I don't really have. It looks like
Yep.
Metro to me. So, yeah.
I'm kind of a 2. I don't really like those kind of shooter styles, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for supporting this game, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more of like an open world first person shooter with RPG
Yeah.
mechanics and like crafting. I think, but I don't know
Right.
a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
But like I said, anything that comes out on Game Pass, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Astrobot, PlayStation's
Oh,
second first party game exclusive, coming out September 6th.
new
Uh,
mascot.
yeah, new mascot. We talked about this a lot. It was either last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm a 5 on this one. I keep checking Astrobot's Playroom to see if they've added the new content to the
Yeah.
game yet. They just added one today.
Nice.
A secret character to find. I went through the level that they said the character was in. I couldn't find it, so I'm waiting to see who
Uh,
see if someone online can find it so I can go get it.
yep.
Um, but very very cool. I can't wait for Astrobot. It's gonna be great.
Mm,
I'm a 5. What are
yeah.
you on that one?
As I see more and more of it, honestly, I'm getting up there.
Yeah.
I think I'm becoming a 5. Kind of stoked.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom was so good, and
Yeah.
so was Rescue Mission. Rescue Mission was a VR game, but I don't know. It wasn't an amazing VR game, at least for me, because it gave me motion
Mhm.
sickness.
Right.
But Astro's Playroom is fantastic. It's crazy. I can't believe it's free.
Yeah.
It's bonkers to me. Next up is one of my top anticipated games for the year. This was originally supposed to release like a week before my birthday in July, but it's
Yeah.
been delayed till September 20th, and that is Frostpunk 2.
Yep.
Frostpunk 1, man. Did you play it?
I haven't myself. I got it from my brother. He loves those
Oh,
kinds of games too.
oh,
The
it
city
is.
builders.
It's not even. You can't even just qualify it as a city builder. It
Yeah, you
is.
can't.
It's
There's a
so
lot to it.
different. It's so good. For those of you who don't know what Frostpunk is, it is a city builder roguelike.
Kind of.
You basically get one shot, so it's. I
Yeah.
guess it's not like a roguelike, but you basically are creating a city that has to survive a blizzard apocalypse kind of situation, and you have to deal with what your people want, and how dark are you going to go in order to survive. Social dilemmas, that kind of thing. And Frostpunk
People
2.
soup. People soup.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What do you do with dead bodies? What do you feed your people? Um, you know, do you send kids to work? Like all these kind of different like
Yep.
social enigmas.
I feel
That you
like
have to.
early on you really can't not send the kids to work. You kind of need the labor.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Especially on the harder modes, it gets real,
Yeah.
real difficult. Um, but yeah, what a fantastic game! Like
Yeah.
that is a 9 out of 10 for me type of game.
What's the disaster gonna be in 2? I forget. I know my
So they haven't. I don't think they're. I don't. They haven't really discussed it, from what I can tell. But the gameplay is much more in depth. So I think this one is less about the disaster that's forthcoming and more about establishing the city and having it last. Because
Right.
basically the story of it is that you from the first game, so the person that made the city survive, has died, and they've elected a new leader, which is you in the second game. It's you in the new game. And they've also formed a council of all of the factions of people that are in the city, and new factions will appear as your city gets bigger.
Oh.
And so it's not
That'll
just
add a whole new set of complexity, I'm sure.
huge complexity. So instead of you just making laws, you have to propose these laws to the council, and they have to vote as to whether it passes or not. And you have to
Right.
play the political game
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that each one is as happy as you can make them.
It ain't a dictatorship no more. You can't just say
No
people sue.
dictatorship. This is America now. Yeah, and it's no longer calculated in days like Frostpunk 1. It's calculated in weeks and months. The city is way larger. The populations are way larger. There's massive districts. So it's a much grander scale. And I can't wait. I'm so stoked for this. Is there a 6 out of 5 on a hype level? Because that's where I'm so disappointed that it was delayed. But
I'm probably a 5 just because I'll probably get it from my brother. I'll watch him play and then I'll play it myself.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I can't. They couldn't screw this game up. There's no way. I'm so stoked for this game. So good.
Mm.
Next up, we've got Zelda Echoes of Wisdom coming out on September 26th. This one was just announced 2 weeks ago at the Nintendo Direct.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's coming out in 2 months. It's crazy. So this is the Link's Awakening remake visual style. 2D top-down game where you play as Zelda instead of Link. And you create objects in the world. You can recreate enemies in the world to fight for you using this wand.
Weird princess powers, I guess.
Well, she gets this wand from this fairy.
Yeah.
It's Zelda.
Yeah, fairies. They're always there to help out.
Navi, yeah, and this one's Tri, I think is her name, as in Triforce. I think it looks good. I don't know whether this is a B tier Zelda game, if that even exists,
right?
But it's definitely not in the mainline.
Yeah,
series of games. It's in their 2D remakes kind of aesthetic. So
it's
pretty interesting.
Zelda seems to be getting the same love Link gets, though, so I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, for sure. The only thing that concerns me about this game is the objects in the world going to be actually useful?
Right.
For each individual object, because I was seeing in the trailer there was beds, tables, chairs. I'm like, don't all those things just do the same thing for you?
I'm wondering if you're kind of building the city or town too, a political figure would,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
If maybe the pieces of the world get sucked into that whatever that pink miasma kind of stuff,
right.
And maybe you have to rebuild the town. That would be cool. Yeah, it's hard to bet against Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to, and I'm going to say 4 on this one.
I'm going to say 5. I'll get it on Switch.
Yeah. Well, you know what? So here's the thing. When it comes to Nintendo games, it takes a long time for me to get to them because they're so expensive.
Yeah.
They never go on sale.
No.
And if they do, they're $5
off.
You
gotta just get ready for it, and you're like, all right, hit the bank.
I'm gonna have to. And in Canada, it's worse. So a full price game up here is $100 after tax.
Oh god. So, yeah, that is terrible. I think it's 60 to 80 here, which is still bad. This one will probably be 80, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it'll be a full price game for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So next up is the Vessel of Hatred, which is the Diablo 4 expansion coming out on October 8th. We've already talked about this one, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's the expansion for Diablo 4, introducing a new character class, a whole new area to explore. And from what I understand, it was supposed to be free, and now they're charging $50 for it.
Yeah.
Like I said, my hype meter is a 1 on this one. I'm not going to buy it. I don't care. I'm so disappointed.
It's still just like a 3 for me because I could see myself giving in later just to
if it goes on sale somewhere down the line,
all right,
maybe. Yeah. Next up is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This one's coming out October 25th to Game Pass. So this is one I'll check out day one. Not much to say about it though. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I think this one has been worked on for a lot longer than the typical Call of Duty game. Because if I remember correctly, Modern Warfare 3 was actually just supposed to be DLC for Modern Warfare 2. So there wasn't actually supposed to be a Call of Duty game last year, which means this game's been cooking.
Yeah.
For a while. So for that fact alone, I'm going to give it a 4. It would normally be a 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give it a 4. Because I like Treyarch and what they do.
Yeah. Call of Duty generally is a 1 for me. I most likely aren't. I'm not going to play it. It's another shooter game. I'm like, I got more RPGs to play. I'll switch in between them week by week.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, if it wasn't coming out on Game Pass, I wouldn't be buying it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Next up is Life is Strange Double Exposure. This is coming out on October 29th. This was recently announced as well. This is the return to the original cast of Life is Strange, with Max as the main protagonist. We've talked about this one already, so we don't really need to go in depth on this one. Next up is Empire of Ants. This comes out on November 7th. We have not talked about this one. This one's very unique. This one is a game that's in Unreal Engine 5, if I'm not mistaken. The environments look gorgeous, like lifelike gorgeous. And you play as an ant, running like an ant colony.
Yeah, that does look crazy.
Which looks really cool. I don't know how great the game will turn out, or if it will just be some, one of those Unreal 5 type visual feasts. But it looks cool. I like the idea of being an ant and commanding your ant army and building up your ant hill and all that kind of stuff. And the visuals are just, like I said, they're fantastic. So I want to check it out.
I don't know if I'll be able to play it. I get the creepy crawlies.
You can get the crawlies.
Like,
it's fair. Ants don't do that for me, but spiders definitely do. So hopefully there's no spiders in this game.
There probably will be.
I agree. There probably will be.
You'll probably encounter a spider and have to sneak around it or something.
Did I ever tell you about Grounded? You ever played Grounded before?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was going to be a spider in that game, and the first one I met was like an hour into it, and I'm like, dude, no, I can't play this. I can't do it. No. I was fine with the little ticks and the little, firefly kind of little bugs. You get a tarantula coming at me? No.
I feel like I actually feel like tarantulas are easier for me to deal with than other little crawlies. I just don't like the legs on the on ants and.
To be fair, they weren't tarantulas. Yeah, they weren't actually tarantulas. They were just so
big tarantulas. I'm like, they can chill.
Yeah, they're furry.
They're fine. They're fine. It's okay.
Oh man.
It's I'm fine with snakes too. Most of the time, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Snakes don't bother me. Reptiles don't bother me. Cats don't bother me. Clearly.
Sometimes.
Yeah, only sometimes. Empire of Ants, I'm gonna give a 3. Yeah. It could go one way or the other for me. It's
I'll give it a 2. I might watch other people play it, but not briefly. For very long. I'm like,
yeah, very briefly. Next up is Mario and Luigi Brothership, which is coming out November 7th for the Switch. This is another game that was just recently announced at the Nintendo Direct, and I have never played any of the Mario and Luigi games. I think we discussed this when we talked about the Nintendo Direct, but I want to check it out. But again, it's a Nintendo game, so it's not going to be cheap.
It's funny because I don't play a lot of the Mario 3D games, but like the Mario and Luigi like RPG-esque I like.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get this one too.
Yeah.
Maybe after Zelda, but still,
yeah.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I really once I get more money and
Mm-hmm.
once that comes in, I'm going to get through my backlog, which should probably be another episode entirely, is talking about our backlogs, what games we want to play that we haven't got to.
I get a lot.
Yeah, me too. Next up on the list is Slitterhead, coming out November 8th. We talked about this one last week, so we're not going to go in depth into it either. It's the
parasite hopping.
Yeah, the parasite hopping game from the Silent Hill creator.
Yeah.
And then next up, we've got Assassin's Creed Shadows, coming out November 15th. That's the last game on my list for confirmed release dates for 2024. So just that list alone, great.
That's a lot of great games.
That's a lot of great games still left in the year.
Yeah.
However, there are still a bunch of games that are listed for 2024 that don't have a release date yet, which is really weird because we're in July as of this recording, July 5th.
Yeah.
And they still don't have release dates. Now, apologies, by the time this recording goes up, some of these might get release dates.
Yeah.
So some of that might be out of date. But we're going to go through this list as well just to see what we think about these ones. These ones, I think most of these ones we haven't talked about before, so this will be interesting. So the first on our list is The Alters from 11-Bit Studios. 11-Bit is from the same guys who make Frostpunk.
Oh, really?
So that has me super stoked. This is a weird game. You're playing as a guy who crash lands on a planet, I think, and in order to survive, he pulls in copies of himself from other universes. So other versions of himself from other versions. And they wake up and they start talking to each other and they kind of work together and they learn about each other and their differences, like how their lives were different in the various universes. Did you ever play this War of Mine? It's an indie
game. No, I don't think I did play that one.
You should play it. Add that to your list.
Yeah.
But it's very much like that game for those of you out there who know about that game. It seems like that, but much more deep and complex. I've kind of, what's the word I want to use here? I've kind of kept my view away from this game because I don't really want to know more than I already did from like the 1 or 2 trailers that I got. I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And if it's from the Frostpunk guys, then they have my attention.
Right.
So I'm a 5 on this one because I have all the faith in the world in the Frostpunk guys, and I just want to see. I want to see what this is all about. It sounds such a cool concept.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm a 5 too. That concept seems so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very story driven.
Gathering alternate versions of yourself, trying to work together for something.
Yeah, like I remember in the trailer he was talking to himself when he was a doctor in the other universe, or he lost one of them lost his entire family in one of the other universes. Like it's all kind of crazy scenarios, and like just some of them were as simple as he made a different choice in a universe, which made a bunch of things change. And you're asking yourself, literally, what would have happened if I had made that decision differently. So it's very cool. Next up is Arc 2 from Studio Wildcard. This is the weird Vin Diesel attached game. I tried to play Arc 1. Well, there was a different name for Arc 1. It was like Arc something Evolved.
I just remember it as Arc, honestly.
Yeah. I played the remake that they brought out because it came out on Game Pass. I think it was called Arc Survival Ascended. Maybe it was Survival Evolved was the tagline for the first one. But I couldn't get into Arc 1 at all. I thought the interface was clumsy as heck. And
yeah.
I mean, it was one of the first games of its kind, so I kind of, we've evolved since then. I'm hoping that the sequel's great, but I don't really have much attachment to the franchise, so I can't really say anything. Plus, I don't think they've released any footage yet, which is crazy. This game is not coming out in 2024. Is my bet. There's no way. I don't buy it. That's a 2025 game for sure.
I think it's hard for me to take a game like Ark seriously for some reason. It doesn't feel like a satisfying game to me.
No?
There's something about it. I don't know.
You're not like a Valheim crafting the forest kind of guy?
Not really.
Gotcha. Fair enough. I am, which is why I was disappointed that I couldn't get into it. But again, if I've played games that came after it first, so then to go back and play something older, it was like,
right.
It was too.
That could have been it. So maybe 2 will grab you better.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. So my hype meter on this is like a 1. I don't. First of all, I don't believe it's coming out this year, and second of all, I don't have the attachment to it. So
yeah.
What about you? Yeah. You're a 1, I assume as well.
Yeah.
Next up is Avowed. We've already talked about this one, so we're not going to go too deep into it. But this is the first-person Skyrim-esque game from Obsidian. That's kind of in the vein of Outer Worlds. It's coming to Game Pass, so I'll be able to tell you all about it when it comes out.
Nice.
Next up is Caravan Sandwich from Dear Villagers. Yep. We've talked about that one as well, so no need to go into it here. But it's also scheduled to come out this year. Next up is Clockwork Revolution, and this is the Bioshock-like from In Exile. The guys that did... Oh, what was it? Was that Take Your Joy? What was that game?
Oh,
Something with You? Crap. What the heck was that game called? Yeah, where like everybody was wearing a mask and they have to take their joy in order to be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Joy.
I can't believe I can't remember what that game. It was like something with
I could look up "Take Your Joy" and it'll come up.
Yeah, Google that. That's probably the first thing.
We
happy few. There we go.
There it is.
Google saved us.
Yep.
Yeah, We Happy Few. It's just those guys. So I think we've talked about this one already, so no need to go into it. But they don't have a great track record. Yeah. But the game does look cool. So
it'll be visually appealing. We'll probably get some Let's Plays.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I hope it's not modeled after We Happy Few, because then it's definitely not going to do well.
Right.
I hope it's more of a BioShock game. We'll see. Next up is Creatures of Ava. This one's interesting. This one's a third-person adventure game where you're like saving animals. I think it's kind of like got like a Noah's Ark kind of a idea to it. Pretty cool. It's been on my radar for a little bit. It's an indie title.
I thought of it like Pokemon, but you actually like take care of and care about the animals, not just put them in fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know a whole lot more about it than that. So I'm sitting at a 3.
Yeah.
For my hype meter, just because it's something I want to check out and want to know more about. Can't remember if this is a Game Pass game, but it could be. So if it is, I'll be checking it out.
Yeah, I'm probably like a 2. Just the gathering creatures, I just don't see myself playing it soon or playing it to completion, these kinds of games. It's really hard for me to concentrate on capturing everything. Like when I play Pokemon, it's hard for me to play it for very long because I start to hyper focus on I need to capture everything, and then I get irritated with that, and then I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna try to beat the game and not worry about that, and then in the back of my head, I'm still worried about that.
I need to capture them all.
I'm like, no,
absolutely. I can't leave this area until I get the Zubat. Exactly. Next up is Demon School. We've talked about this one already, so we're going to skip over it, but it is scheduled for 2024.
Yep.
The next one is Dragon Age Veilguard. Talked about this one as well, so we're not going to go into that one either, but it is scheduled for 2024, which is crazy, actually.
Yeah.
No, did that get delayed? I feel like that got delayed. Let me look that up. This might be one of those ones that needs to be updated on my list. Nope. Release date 2024. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Super weird that a game that big does not have a release date. That's so strange. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up on our list is Earthblade. So this one is very noteworthy because it is the people who made Celeste. Which was absolutely fantastic. I think it won Game of the Year for a lot of people. So, I'm a 5 right off the bat for that because I played Celeste. I loved it. What a great game.
This has to be stunning then.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks great visually.
Do look good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely got that Celeste side-scrolling kind of style to it. Although the graphics look a little bit more detailed, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know a whole lot about it, but I don't need to because it's from a developer who made like just a freaking gem of a game. And hopefully one day we'll talk about Celeste because I think it's so good that it needs to be talked about more. I'm a 5 for Earthblade for sure. Next up is Harmonium, the musical.
Harmonium.
What's that?
Harmonium.
Yeah, Harmonium, the musical, the game. This is from an indie developer. This is an interesting one. Not a whole lot of gameplay shown, but basically the idea of the game is that you are a deaf girl who still enjoys music from a bass standpoint, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do in the game, but that concept is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love games that help like stretch your imagination and put you in like someone else's shoes that see the world differently. I'm curious what the audio in that game will be like, if it fully immerses you into like what it's like hearing from that perspective, or like
absolutely
how deaf is she? How does it immerse you into experiencing that?
100%.
I'm curious about.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. There's a game that it didn't remind me of this game in particular because it's very different, but there's a game called The Veil that a lot of people probably have never heard of that I played on Xbox. I think it's on Game Pass, and it's kind of got a similar idea where you play as a blind person in the game. And it's meant for blind people. This game is actually meant for blind people.
Wow.
The entire game is audio only.
Oh.
And it's like a story driven but it's also a first person game. Which is mind blowing. So like you have to move around and make decisions, and there's combat, and you have to base it all on audio. It's very interesting. Highly recommend it to anyone who wants to check out something different. That's in this vein.
That's amazing.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know if it's for PC, but check it out. The Veil. I think it takes place in like medieval kind of times, like armor and swords and that kind of thing. So very cool.
Yeah.
But as far as Harmonium goes, I am a 3 on that just because I have no idea what the gameplay is, but I like the concept.
I'm a 5. I want to experience new things.
Absolutely, for sure. Next up, this one hurts. Hollow Knight Silk Song from Team Cherry is still scheduled to come out in 2024.
With no announcement date.
Yeah, this game is hurting, man. This game was supposed to release 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. It was shown at an Xbox showcase that said every game you see in this presentation is coming out within 1 year from now. That was 2 years ago. Yeah,
that's a little concerning.
it is. I understand that they're a small team, but I mean, you already had a foundation to work on.
Just because of the way things update too, and like if they would have to go back and change things to keep it up to date, or
right, because they're just taking too long.
Yeah,
it'll still sell well, I think, and it'll still be great when it comes out. But man, they need to fix this. This is taking way too long. As far as my hype meter goes, that's a tough question.
Yeah,
because I love Hollow Knight, and Silksong's probably going to be really good. But I have like such low hype for it now because it's taken so long that I just don't even care. I'm just like, don't mention the game again until it's going to be out in like a week, basically. I just don't care. So I'm a 1, I want to say, because I want to play it, but I'm really tired of hearing about it.
Yeah. I'd probably count myself as a 1 just because I don't play games like Hollow Knight very often. Like, I like visually watching like my brother play it, but I don't play it myself.
Very challenging. Very challenging game.
Yeah.
The first time I played the first one, I played like a couple hours of it, and I was like, man, this is too hard. I gotta go. And then I came back to it like 2 years later, and I was like, man, this game's amazing.
Yeah.
You just have to be in the right mind space for a challenging game like that.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah. Next up is Hollywood Animal. Probably not a game you've heard of. But it is. I played the demo for it. It's a PC game. And you play as a Hollywood movie producer / director, I think. Or you run the studio, you run the company, and it kind of takes place during like the heyday, the golden era of film, like the 60s, 70s, and that kind of realm. And it's got the best way I can kind of describe it is it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but where you make movies. Or like Game Dev Tycoon, if you remember that game on mobile. Where you make movies, but it's very different in that there's a lot of shady stuff that you can do. So like you can pay off people, to do things under the table. You can this is gonna sound really terrible, but that's why the game's called Hollywood Animal. But like it was in the demo. I'm pretty sure one of the actresses was like really tired and couldn't, was making a big fuss and said she couldn't do the next scene, so it was going to delay the shoot and all this kind of stuff. And your options were basically like to delay the shoot or like to slip her a drug of caffeine or something like that in order to get through.
The real shitty shit that happened in Hollywood.
Exactly, the real stuff that happened back then, right?
Just take these caffeine pills.
Yep.
Weren't those caffeine pills weren't they actually like cocaine or something?
Probably.
Some kind of
probably.
Yeah. They called it caffeine, but it wasn't. It was something way stronger.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. If we've learned anything from the Harvey Weinstein, thing, it's that Hollywood's not.
Hollywood has a lot of issues.
Yeah, you do.
For sure.
But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the game, where it's so cool. I played the demo. The demo was actually ridiculously long. I stopped playing it because I thought it was the full game at one point. I was like, okay, I've seen enough. I've played enough. But it was really cool. So I'm like a 4 on that one. It was pretty fun.
I'm probably a 4. I'll get it eventually and play it. It sounds edgy and fun.
Yeah, you're like down my alley. Yeah, you have to like hire actors and actresses and producers, and you have to actually make the movie. So you make decisions about like, is this a comedy? Is this a romance flick? Is this an action flick? and you
probably build the actors' talent repertoire. Like this actor's more for comedy.
Yeah, you have to pick like the perfect combination of actors and producers and directors, and you have to have a script writer make the script, and you have to pay your talent and all kind. Like it's super in depth. It's really fun. It's really cool. Next up is Hyper Light Breaker. This is from the same makers of Hyper Light Drifter and Solar Ash, I believe, as well. I am not as high on this developer as a lot of people seem to be. I played Solar Ash. It was fine. I didn't finish it. It was fine. I think I played Hyper Light Drifter when it came out. It was I feel like it was a long time ago now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, relatively, like 10, no, maybe not 10 years. But it's been a while. But I don't know. They're visually stunning games where the gameplay just never hooks me.
Right.
So, I'm like a 2 on this one. Yeah, I'm not as into this developer as a lot of people seem to be.
Yeah, I'm probably a 2. Like the visuals have me interested enough. If I see something that really interests me, I'll try it. But a lot of these style like combat games, I don't know.
They don't hook you.
If it has something that'll hook me, I'll give it a shot. But I haven't seen anything that would yet.
Yeah. Next up is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle from Machine Games for Xbox. This one I think we've talked about already as well.
Right.
It is a Game Pass game, so this is one that I'll be able to report back on when it comes out. But this is another huge title that doesn't have a release date, even though it's coming out this year. Pretty crazy to me.
Kind of nuts.
Lump that in with Arc 2 and Dragon Age.
I wonder if they're keeping you on edge about it on purpose, just to like surprise
keep it in your mind.
Yeah.
Could be. My only theory about
is there some kind of strategy that I'm not seeing? I don't know.
Yeah. So we talked about Arc 2. I think Arc 2 is just not coming out this year, and they just don't want to say anything. With Dragon Age and Indiana Jones, I'm wondering if they're waiting for two things. I think they're either waiting for everyone else to announce their release date so that they can pocket it in a better spot. Because you know how busy the fall gets, right? So maybe they're waiting to put it in a good spot. Maybe. Or they're not sure if it's going to make this year. That's also a possibility too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Next game is Jump Ship. This one is just, I'll never play this one, but it does look crazy weird. So it's like it kind of reminds me of Canyons, that game we were talking about the other week, where it's a first person shooter where you're in a spaceship and someone can drive the ship or fly the ship while all the other players are like roaming the ship and outside of the ship, and it's like ship to ship battles, and it's kind of mind blowing. What they've shown, but it kind of strikes me as like a Sea of Thieves, Payday, multiplayer only kind of a.
Like you got to have those multiple people willing to.
Like if you don't have people. It strikes me as one of those games which I'm never.
It also strikes me as something, even if I did have that group, I'd be one of the people who's not playing that often, just because there's so much going on. I would easily get overwhelmed, I think.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a really in your face game. I would play it if I had a solid group of gamers that would play those types of games, but I don't. Otherwise, I'd be playing all kinds of stuff like Sea of Thieves and what's that, Deep Rock Galactic, and there's so many games out there that are like
Deep Rock Galactic a couple times with a buddy of mine, but
I played it in single player to death. I love it.
It's a fun game, but it's again one of those games where I don't like playing it too much.
It's addicting. It's really good.
Like,
absolutely.
I don't want to get overwhelmed by it. I got to like break from those kinds of games a lot.
For sure. So for Jump Ship, I'm a 1, but I wanted to point it out because it's so cool looking.
Yeah. Personally, I'm a 1 too, but still looks cool.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm sure a lot of people will like it.
I'll probably look forward to seeing like Markiplier play it with his buddies because
yeah,
fun.
Exactly. That was my thought as well. Was watch someone else play it.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Jurassic Park Survival. This is from Saber Interactive, which is an not Endeavor. What's that big publisher now? Let me look that up real quick. It starts with an E. I always think it's Endeavor, but Endeavor is the UFC guys, I'm pretty sure.
Endeavor just makes me think My Hero Academia. What's that big fire guy got to do with this?
Yeah. Oh, what is their name? Just looking it up here. So we got Saber Interactive. What is the company's name? Maybe they're not affiliated with the company I'm thinking of. Could have sworn that they... Embracer was the name I was thinking of.
Embracer.
Does Embracer own Saber?
I think I remember you mentioning those two were linked.
Oh, no, they sold Saber. So they purchased Saber in 2020, but they just recently sold them to Beacon Interactive. Okay, so interesting. Didn't know that. So my interest is a little bit higher. Because Embracer just, they poop out games and they don't seem to care about their quality.
Don't put in the love. Yeah.
They're very EA-like. Yeah. But we haven't seen much about this game except for the initial trailer that debuted, and it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
It's Jurassic Park, but you play as somebody who was left behind on the island right after the end of Jurassic Park 1, which is super cool.
That is cool.
So, based on that one trailer, I would say I'm a 4, though I do want to see more, from them.
I'm probably a 1. I don't see myself playing it, but
no, you're not a Jurassic Park fan.
No, not really. Sadly,
no.
Like I don't. Just the big monsters, dinosaurs. They never intrigued me that much.
Fair. Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't really say anything. Jurassic Park 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I have a buddy that makes fun of me because he loves kaiju, and I'm just I don't know.
I can't say I'm a huge fan of kaiju either. I mean, it's a cool idea, but the movies suck. I mean, they're not great.
But if you like dinosaurs, how do you not like kaiju? Dinosaurs are like the more realistic version of kaiju.
Yeah, so I like kaiju. I just think the movies suck. Jurassic Park 1 is a seminal classic. It's so good. But like Jurassic Park 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're forgettable. Especially the trilogy sequel, or the sequel trilogies. They're crap. But the first movie is just so good. So I mean, and there really hasn't been a AAA big Jurassic Park game before. I mean, there was like Super Nintendo Jurassic Park games, but it's been a long time since we've had anything in that world. So I'm hoping this is a great game. I think Saber Interactive is also the people that were supposed to be doing the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
Oh.
So I don't know if they're still doing that. That's kind of up in the air, but interesting that they're working on 2 games at the same time. If that's
that'd be cool.
I thought I removed this one from the list. Kazan. I think it's another. I think I removed it because it's one of the. What is that gotcha game that everyone played? Genshin Impact. I think it's like from them.
Yeah.
The first Berserker Kazan. That's what it's called. It's a single-player hardcore action RPG based on the Dungeon and Fighter universe. I've never heard of that. It says it's enjoyed by more than 850 million people. That seems unlikely to me. Given that there's only 6 billion people in the world, I highly doubt almost 1 billion people are enjoying the Dungeon and Fighter universe. Seems unlikely to me.
They just got themselves up.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a little much, guys.
It seems a little more niche than that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Unless it's like a China thing, like maybe it's huge in China.
Yeah,
they got 1 billion people there. Yeah, I think we'll skip this one. I thought I took it off my list, but yeah, I'm not really interested in this one.
Yeah, not super interested.
Next one is Little Devil Inside. This is a strange one. So this game was revealed at the PlayStation 5 reveal event, which was like 4.5 years ago, something like that. And then it just disappeared, just vanished. No one, they just never talked about it. But I think I got a re-reveal.
They didn't forget about it though. They just let you forget about it.
No, because it looked so cool. Where is it here? Oh,
the art style is pretty cool looking.
It looks really interesting. It says the game has single player and cooperative multiplayer, and it follows the professional and personal lives of explorers searching for monsters and supernatural events in a 19th century inspired world. I'm looking to see if there's been an update recently, because I feel like I wouldn't have put this on the list if there wasn't some sort of update. Yeah, there was a trailer. What else we got here? Yeah, this game was on Kickstarter. It looks like it's an Australian developer. They were given $306,000 to create this game.
I just looked up the YouTube trailer, and there's a comment up there that's been edited. That's from 4 years ago. That says, "Man, this game has been in development for 5 years."
Yeah, it's been a long time. The website says, "Thank you everyone for your valuable contributions," which is the Kickstarters. And it says, "In time, this website will be updated with info from the dev team as well as general updates on what's happening inside of the team. Prior to release, we will reconfirm your details and ask everyone to choose the preferred platform of your choice." That's not good. The website has been active since 2016. That's even worse. I feel like there was an update on this game recently, though. Yes, there is. From April 3rd. Let's see what they said on April 3rd. Whoa. Man, the Kickstarter website doesn't load very well, does it? There we go. So it says, with development cycling on despite all that's happened, we plan to provide you with periodic updates, blah, blah, blah. The design intention with using different weapons a year is not based on... What are you talking? Oh, so it's just talking about changes that they're making. So they're still working on it. Yeah, their last update was in April.
Yeah.
So it's still in development, but there was a 4-year gap.
Still trying to get it out though, so that's something.
Wonder how big the team is. Oh, it's 2 people.
Oh no. Yeah, no wonder it's taken a while. Only 2 people?
Looks like it. So it says... Oh, maybe not. So it says here, I'll just read the update. So it says, "Dear all, it began with a dream of two brothers. You supported. We became a team, then grew into a company and tried many hands to make light work. Along the way, in all, I mean, just move it over here to make it easier. Along the way, in all efforts to making a great game, many great people have come and gone. People with respectable but different purposes and pursuits. In sharing these differences and thoughts, we were sometimes touched and moved, and sometimes in conflict. We are responsible for not being able to embrace the differences." Okay, so there was some development problems. "And of course, sincere apologies to you all. So now we're back to a smaller, bonded team with a single common purpose to make a great game. And all our core founding and starting members are still here with the duty and conscience to fulfill what we set out to do. We know this doesn't and shouldn't justify for all the delays and lack of news, but we're still here, have been, and always will be, equipped with one tide-turning fact. Having gone the long way around, we are much stronger. We are genuinely starting discussions regarding publishing, and once this clears out, hopefully we'll be able to answer what everyone wants to know. We've just strung together a series of gameplay clips representative of what we've been working on in the Unreal 5 engine." Interesting. So they're looking for a publisher, which is a little strange considering that it was at the PlayStation reveal event. I thought Sony would have been publishing it, but that's not a good sign if they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
something part of what happened made them tear from Sony too?
It's possible,
Now they're searching again.
Especially if you're that quiet for 4 years. That's very strange.
Yeah.
Clearly something bad happened there, but doesn't mean the game won't be good when it comes out. So I'm gonna stick it at 2, just because it's been so long. Like it says it's supposed to come out this year, whether I believe that or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave it at a 2. I'll probably get it eventually when it's released.
If it's released.
Yeah, if it's released.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for it, watch it. Yeah.
Next up is Neva or Neva. Not sure how you pronounce it. This is the game developed by the same makers of Grease or Gris, depending on who you ask. It's like a side-scrolling limbo-like with a little bit of light combat, gorgeous art style. It's all about your relationship with this like wolf fox with antlers creature. I'm sure it'll be great. But I didn't like Grease or Gris, however you want to say it. So I'm going to temper my expectations a little at a 3. Just because I didn't like their first game, but I like Limbo likes. So for me not to like it, we would have to be pretty bad. Yeah.
I'm probably a 3 because it visually just looks very stunning. It seems like one of the kind of games I could get down with just playing and chilling through for a few hours.
It's probably a short game. I can't imagine it being long.
Just play through it real quick and be like, "Oh, that was enjoyable."
Exactly. I'm hoping that's
what I'll get what I want out of it. I think.
Yeah, IGN just did a preview of it, and they said that it could be the next great Limbo-like. So we'll see how that turns out. Next up is Nico Dirico. We talked about this one last week. This is the cross between Crash Bandicoot and Banjo-Kazooie type of game.
Yeah.
So we don't need to go into that further. But that's coming out this year as well, apparently. Next is Nobody Wants to Die. We talked about this one last week as well. This is the first-person detective noir time-traveling game that's supposed to come out this year as well. I thought they gave it a release date. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Nobody Wants to Die release date. They did. It comes out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I have to update that. July 17th, 2024. So let me... You know what? Remind me to update that. Update. Nobody Wants to Die. Release date. Well, there we go. And you know what? That may have changed. From the last time I checked it. But cool.
Yeah.
Coming out very soon.
Nice.
It's like 12 days from now. Not even 2 weeks.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing more of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've already talked about that one. We can move forward from that one. What do you want? My cat's bothering me. What do you want? Come here. What do you want?
It's being very noisy right now.
You are being very noisy. Why are you being very noisy? Come here. Okay. Are you good now? Having a hissy fit?
Just wanted some pets.
Yep. Say hello to the camera. You weirdo.
You
Yeah.
ignored him too long.
Yeah, I think I did. He's like, you can. Oh, now he's rubbing his face against the mic boom arm. You weirdo. Next up on the list, this break brought to you by Dante. Next up on the list is Path of Exile 2. I think we talked about this one. Maybe we
think we did.
Yeah, this is the Diablo like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we don't need to talk about that one. We talked about the next one, which is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo.
Yep.
Which is coming out this year as well.
Looked very cute.
Next one is Plucky Squire. Did we talk about that one? I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
Plucky Squire is from Devolver Digital, and as we all know, Devolver Digital usually delivers on their titles. They're fantastic. This is the one that's kind of a Zelda-like, like an original, like the original 2D Zelda games. They describe it as a action adventure video game, which doesn't do it justice. It says the storybook characters discover a 3-dimensional world outside the pages of their book and must jump between 2D and 3D realms to save their friendship. Yeah, save their friendship. This one's been on my list of wants for a while. It looks really cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, the art style looks great. The gameplay looks really, solid.
The idea of switching between like their fictional world and they jump out into the real world, it's like one of my childhood dreams.
Right. Looks really cool. So I'm a 5 on that one.
Yeah.
I've been a 5 on that one for a while.
I'm a 5. That looks so cool.
I just hope it gets released.
Childhood dream, like I said. I'm just
Yeah, it looks really unique. Again, I just hope it comes out this year because this is another game that just doesn't have a release date. Next up is Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. We talked about that one already as well. That one's coming from Digital Eclipse. Next up is Replaced. Now, Replaced has been in development for a long time as well. This is another one that's kind of been stuck in development hell. I think it was supposed to come out, I want to say like 6 months ago at least. I think it's a Game Pass game. And it looks gorgeous. The art style looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Deadlight. I don't know if anyone out there played Deadlight. Kind of looks like that, but a much cooler art style. Yeah, I want to see this. I want to see this, and I want to see it be good. I'm like a 4 on this one. Okay. Fair. I think it's a Game Pass game. So if it is, I'll be able to let you know if it's worth looking into. Next up is Shrine's Legacy. We've talked about that one already on one of our previous episodes, so we won't go into that one. Same thing with the next one, Scopja 83. Still don't know how to say it. Scopja? I'm not saying, or Scopja? Scopju? I don't know. Who knows? Stick It to the Stick Man. I don't think have we talked about that one? Stick It to the Stick Man? I don't remember. This one has been. It's been a while since I've seen this one. Let me just look up a trailer real quick. It's been forever. I've got one in our trailer section. Oh, you know what this reminds me of is I might be too old for you to know what this is, but do you remember like the old Flash animations of the Stickman that would do like the ultra violent stuff and like the Matrix moves? That's what this reminds me of. Stick it to the stick, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks interesting. I think I was just impressed with it the first time around, and looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, it could be fun. I'd say a 2 on that one. Yeah, for sure. And it comes out this year, apparently. So they say. Yeah, I have to assume that's probably a lower budget one, like a 10 to $20 maybe. Next one is Thank Goodness You're Here. We talked about that one already on a previous episode. Next one is The Thaumaturge, coming to consoles in 2024. It's already out on PC. This one is also by the same makers of Frostpunk, 11-bit studios. This is the turn-based RPG detective, almost Call of Cthulhu type of game. Where if I remember correctly, you're fighting like like demons in your mind, like actual like demon, like not demons from hell. Yeah. It reviewed really well on PC and it looks really cool, and I can't wait for it to come to console so I can give it a try. I'm like a 4 on that. Yeah. Hey, if it's on, I was gonna say if it's on sale, let me know. But my PC can't play that. There's no way. Um, I need a good turn-based game. Yeah. Next up is I don't know how you say this, but Towers of Agasab. Agas Agasaba. Yeah, Agasaba. That sounds about right. Um, Kind of looks like a cross between like Zelda Breath of the Wild and like a Valheim type game. Visually very pretty. Don't know a whole lot about it, but it looks really cool. I got a 4 on that one. I was really impressed visually by it. Exactly, yeah. It's that's about where I am as well. It really impressed me when I first saw it. I just need to see more. Unknown 9 is also scheduled to come out this year from Bandai Namco. We talked about that on one of the previous episodes. Wanderstop, also on one of the previous episodes we talked about, is about scheduled to come out this year. And finally, Wolf Among Us 2, or Wolf Among Us Season 2 from Telltale is supposed to come out this year, although we have not seen anything from it except for a teaser. So I'm a little dubious about that coming out this year. I think that'll be a 2025 game, personally. Oh, oh, the first one was so good. It was easy to me, at least. It was Telltale's best game. It was fantastic. So I'm a 4 on this because this is the new Telltale. So I haven't played anything from the new Telltale. I think they've only released one game so far. The new Telltale studio, which is The Expanse. They released, and I haven't seen that show, so I didn't check it out. Yeah, it's a space sci-fi uh, TV show. But yeah, that is the list of 2024 games, both with confirmed release dates and with just a generic 2024 release. So a lot of games without a release date. So we'll see which end up coming out and which are going to get pushed to 2025. But I think there's a good possibility that a good chunk of those get delayed. No, I think the only ones you can count on coming out this year are probably Alters, Dragon Age, Indiana Jones. Oh yeah, Demon School. Yeah, because I think a lot of those like indie games are coming out in early access too, so they don't need to wait. They can just come out when they're ready for the early access crowd. Okay, so next up is just the news. So we've already talked about the first news piece of news here. The Concord open beta, as I mentioned earlier, is July 18th to the 21st. The closed beta is the week prior to that, I believe, the 12th to the 14th, I think, if I remember correctly. So I will not be in the closed beta, but I will be in the open beta. So I'll be able to give some feedback on that. Hopefully on that week's show. It's the day that we record is typically the Friday, so that would be the 18th. So yeah, depending on how the beta goes, if it launches okay and doesn't crash and I can get in, then I'll be able to talk about it that day. Exactly. It might be one of those discussions that day. Absolutely. It wouldn't be the first online game to launch with problems, that's for sure. Ubisoft has confirmed that multiple Assassin's Creed games are being remade. That is wild to me. I knew they were. Yeah, they're pulling a straight up Capcom here. Like, uh, so here's my thought. Right, is that there are games in the series that could use a remake, and I'm not talking like okay, let's back up the truck here. There's remasters and then there's remakes, right? So remasters are basically like HDified, upresed, maybe 60 frames per second, instead of a 30 frames per second type experiences, right? Then you got your remakes, which are like ground up, made for that console that they're being developed for type games. So like Final Fantasy VII remake is a great example. The Dead Space remake is a great example. And then remasters are like they're literally just ports that are upres, right? So they've specifically said remakes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they get remasters like every 2 months. It feels like. Here's another package of Kingdom Hearts games. Cool. Um, yeah, so they've said remakes, which is crazy. So if I was to take that for face value as a full remake, there are a couple of games that would really benefit from a remake. The biggest one, of course, being Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is probably one of the most beloved Assassin's Creed games. But if you try to go back and play it now with its, old archaic combat system and 16,000 loading screens, if they made the Black Flag set of islands where you're sailing your ship into an actual open world instead of you have to, in order to go to an island, you have to go through a loading screen. That could be huge, and the story of Black Flag was so good. Like I would totally replay that game in a remake form because I couldn't go back and play it otherwise. I'm trying to think of the other games. I think Syndicate would also really benefit from a remake as well. Like the England during the Industrial Revolution setting was so cool, but it was so held back by the old Assassin's Creed style that it's kind of forgettable. But great setting and great characters. So those two I think could really benefit from the remake. But I'm curious to see when they're going to release one of these. I'm wondering if they're going to go like That's also like, yeah, I mean that's true, and that's an RPG too. Yeah, yeah, it really depends on how remake focused they're going for this, right? Like if they're going full on remake, yeah, it could be a while. But I'm wondering if they're gonna do the Call of Duty thing where every other year we're gonna get a new Assassin's Creed, and every other year we're gonna get a remake. You know what I mean? So they're gonna like bounce back and forth. So every year we get an Assassin's Creed, but one year it's a remake, the next year it's a new game remake. So kind of like Resident Evil has been kind of doing that as well. But interesting news though. They're really tripling and quadrupling down on that franchise, man. Holy mackerel! Um, the next news piece I had was From Software's parent company got hacked, which is pretty crazy. I haven't seen an update on that yet. Let me see what the update was, if there was any. So they didn't acknowledge From Software being affected, which is good. Because I don't know if you remember the Insomniac hack. That sucked. Their entire schedule, like release schedule for the next like 15 years, was released. That sucks. Well, I'm glad that From Software was not in that same boat. There was a 7-hour long Xbox Live outage. I think it was on, what's today, Friday? I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, I remember I went to sign on and it wouldn't work, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. Especially for Microsoft. Um, it's a long time. They never explained why it happened either, which is also weird. You're very noisy. Good lord. Um, so I thought that was pretty. Yeah, he's in a mood right now for sure. Uh, two more news pieces. The next up is that the Watch Dogs movie has started filming. No details on the story or if it involves any of the characters from the games or if it's its own thing. But interesting. Hopefully, it is better than Ubisoft's first foray into movies, because the Assassin's Creed movie was really bad, despite having a great lead. In who's the lead in that? What's his name? The guy who played Magneto in X Men, like the younger X Men movies. Oh, who was it? Yeah, yeah. Michael Fassbender. That's who it was, Michael Fassbender. But yeah, that movie sucked. That was so bad. And then finally, some crappy news here. The Horizon Zero Dawn / Forbidden West Netflix series has been canceled. That's a shocker. I thought Sony was going huge on that, and that now it's been canceled. Now it does specifically say that the Netflix series has been canceled, so maybe Sony is moving it to another company. True. Mm. There was definitely some creative differences, apparently. So yeah, it may be for the better. Who knows? I hope we still get to see a TV adaptation or maybe a movie adaptation, because it's a really cool series of games. Have you played Zero Dawn or Forbidden West? Yeah, great games. The first one. Yeah, I personally like the first one more than the second one. The second one is definitely way more gorgeous, but I think I like the first one as far as like, I don't even know. Just the it felt better to play. I think is the best way to put it. Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then finally, we had a new game trailer come out for a game called Alcahest, and the the game's media seems to be really impressed with it, and it does look really cool. But I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. There's no way that's gameplay. That is a very good. I think what they refer to these as bullshot, where it is like a very carefully rendered articulation of what they want the gameplay to look like. Because it looks a little too smooth between the animation cuts and everything. I'm like, nah. I'm like, if that is gameplay, then holy crap. But I don't believe it's gameplay. Yeah. Well, they said it's inspired by Might and Magic. Mm-hmm. Where it's very much like environmental type gameplay. So it does look fantastic. I'm not going to dispute that. It all looks absolutely cool. I think a lot of people are. Yeah, I don't think it's the real game. I don't think it is. If I'm wrong, cool. Yeah, yeah, I would agree. There's just something about I watched it twice and I was like, there's no way. Like my brain went back to remember the Killzone 2 trailer, and back in the day that was a bullshot. That's what it reminded me of because I'm like, no, first person game. Because at first I thought it was a VR game because of how like it wasn't like a normal first person shooter where there's not really any head bobbing. There was a lot of head like viewpoint moving, and I'm like, oh, it's a VR game. And then I'm like, no. Then they're like, no, it's a first person adventure game, and I'm like, then that's some bullshit then, or that's some like pre-made cinematic or something. I don't know, but hopefully it's real, but I don't believe it. Yeah, exactly. We will see. A bullshot. Yeah, we will see. So that's it for the news, and that's it for the new trailers of the week. As always, before we close out the show, we name the worst game title of the week, and I got my Switch out just for this one. This one's fantastic. You ready for this? This game is called. I don't even know if it'll show on the camera or not, but no, probably not. Sea under the sea, under the sea, sea under the sea, under the sea. And here's it has absolutely nothing to do with with that song. Here is the wonderful summary slash description. Under the sea. Yeah. Here's the description. I'm gonna read this as if it's serious because it's supposed to be serious. Okay. This is a horror game about thalassophobia. I don't have to look that up. Where you play as a submarine pilot exploring the deep sea. The year is 2082. I can't read this thing without laughing. Okay. The year is 2082. It's 2082. Most of the planet is covered with water, and the composition of marine fauna has changed dramatically. Humanity has about 500 million people, most of whom live where the mountains used to be. You are in the Carpathian. It gets better. You are in the world building. Yeah, I, I don't understand what they mean by most of whom live where the mountains used to be. Where did the mountains go? I guess so. Well, maybe I don't know because it says you are in the Carpathian port. Is that on land or is that on water? I don't understand. A team of researchers found an anomaly in the Black Sea. The signal shows that part of the seabed has begun to rise. Everything indicates that a new island has formed on the surface. Wait a minute. So there's a well, the signal shows that part of the seabed has begun to rise. Okay, it's begun to rise, right? Everything indicates that a new island has formed on the surface. Well, that changed dramatically fast. First it was beginning to rise, now there's an island there. Yeah, just in a difference of sentences. And now you are an underwater team worker. So there's an island there, but you're an underwater team worker. Your task is to investigate the anomaly. Isn't it an island? Why am I underwater looking at an island? Yeah. Yeah, you've established that it's risen. So, yeah, you are an underwater team worker that's looking at an island. Okay, sure. Well, it's wait till I show you the screenshot. It gets good. Here we go. There's more to it. Sea Under the Sea Under the Sea is an exploration plot driven game where you will be spooked in the deepest corners of the sea. Features 3D space traversing, retro graphics, unique, moody underwater locations, and this feature, spooky fish. Okay, you want to see their spooky fish? How about that spooky fish? Look at that, giant faces. That's fantastic. Oh man. And believe it or not, they have the gall to charge $25.99 for this game. Yep, requires 1.5 gigabytes of space. Uh, I don't even know. Well, you know what could Sea Under the Sea Under the Sea is our worst game title of the week. And probably the worst game of the week, probably. Um Brutal. Oh, I'm a 6 on that one, baby. I want to go under the sea, where the island has already risen. I want to go under that sea, baby. Man, brutal. Nintendo, if you're listening to this, which you probably are not, but if you are, could you raise the standards of your store just a teeny little bit? Yeah, I mean, Steam is like, yeah, they're not going to show up, no. But like, I found that in about 30 seconds. I just looked in the recent releases, and there it was. Sea Under the Sea Under the Sea. Great game. Maybe. I don't know. That game came out on the 5th, and it was 30 seconds down on the list, so that was yesterday. I don't think so. I think the Nintendo eShop is just getting flooded with garbage, just like the Wii got shovelware galore. Nintendo, remember the Nintendo seal of quality? Whatever happened to that? They need to bring that back. I think your shop needs a seal of quality because it doesn't have one. Anyway, that's it for this week's episode. Remember, I can be reached at TJ_the_Leo on Twitter. Bailstorm can be reached at Bailstorm on Twitter as well. And you can actually see it in the description for the correct spelling. And it's actually right below our faces now. Actually, I forgot about that. Right below our faces, you can see. Guy got the setup going. Not complete. We will see an evolution of that in the future. But for now, that's what we got. And remember, you can email in your questions and comments to co.op.podcasts@gmail.com. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. This has been episode 3 of Press Pause. And we out.